E allora continuiamo a riflettere sul ruolo di...
We shall now continue to think about cinema as a tool that can enhance and enrich the cultural experience. We will continue to talk about the role of art and how art can enhance urban spaces and areas. And we'll now travel to Lithuania. So we'll dive into Kaunas experience, European Capital of Culture in 2022, together with Dovile Budnoriciu.
Good day. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's nice to be back to Trieste. It's nice to speak about cinema. My name is Dovile Budnoriciu. At the moment, I'm head of international relations at Kaunas European Capital of Culture, which we just completed the project. I was listening to colleagues' presentations, and I think that's very important to have such event like this today. I will go a little bit different way today because I believe that film festivals is a natural ecosystem of a city, and many films will be screened anyway. So I will give you a few examples how we in-contexted the city and how sometimes European Capital of Culture can think a little bit out of the box while creating special programs and special events. So I will only share a few examples, but before that I would like, of course, to give you a glimpse of what was this Kaunas project about. It's video with sound.
Kaunas yra amžinas.
That was a very short story. We must have in mind what was happening, and there was like 3,000 events from 2017 till now. It was a journey for us all, creators and the citizens, and that was contemporary capital was our slogan, and that was a changing narrative, awakening the sleeping beauty of the city, which lost its DNA. Hard, It was hard, but I think we quite succeeded because we had pandemic, we had war, everything around, but we're here and we were celebrating and it finished already. So what was important to mention, the program was co-created. So it means not only us we're doing, but together with partners. And we focused on cultural program mostly, not the tourism, not the wines, not the mountains, which we don't have. So basically, we played the city and the names and the citizens and everything that was created in 2017, from 2017. So we were looking for projects as a foundation, inviting 72 program partners, local partners from around Lithuania, not only Kaunas. We were looking for projects which create special, unique experiences, and of course, which involves our community. So make the citizens be proud of this, what is happening, not in Kaunas, but also in the circular municipalities and district. We were looking for partners who are able to work with international partners, so that was a very important criteria for us, European dimension. Not only in paper, but also from experience or willingness to have this experience. We were looking for projects who help us to think out of the box. We have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and Lithuanians are very good in these opportunities to make it happen, very hardly working. So I hope that Nova Gorica will also, take this energy to co-create a very special things that you will always remember. Sometimes it takes more time, sometimes it's more expensive than usually, but it makes a lot of sense. So, talking about films and the program related to the cinema events, I will tell a few examples. So main cast was architecture, which Kaunas is a very specific modernist city, very unique interwar built golden era kind of very, very powerful and very unique things. And I will show you a few pictures. You also saw a little bit on the video, that's why I showed. And also citizens who needs to get the pride back about their city. And they need to believe, and then they want to attend. And we are very happy that most of the exhibitions, cinema events, all of the kind of events, and all the cultural organizations got like 3 times bigger attendance than usually. So this means that the person who was going only to cinema also went to the theater, which we didn't do before, but it was all connected with the narrative. So this is the city, very beautiful. This is our Eiffel Tower. There are some glimpses also. The square round windows are the symbol of Kaunas, so if you will be there, just look around and it's all around these details. So some highlights where this architecture and citizens were taking part. What was important to mention that we started in 2017, so we created some things before it. So in 2022, we just celebrated the change. So we made some special shorts to help us to promote culture marketing, not the tourism marketing, and also the city, and also things with special program for architecture. So we created a cycle of short films, Dance Plus City, and it was a pandemic situation. That means that the short dance films, they were living special moment in virtual festivals as well as many other forms. So we used up to 2 minutes clips also to promote it through embassies. I'm giving you this management's part, not only for the audience, for organizers and also producers. So we used it in windows and screens, in marketings before some events, as well as we worked with it to distribute through the festivals or to connect it to some specific conferences. So this was promoting the city and promoting the cycle. And it was created together with the national broadcaster, which is a member of European Broadcasting Union. So they also put it to the database, so they were a little bit advertising Kaunas. Lithuanian Culture Institute made a special documentary, which was 6 minutes long, and I invite you also to get to know a little bit. It would simply said, what is this special period and what kind of architecture we have. So the special documentary about the city was created, and we used it also in 12 languages. It was helping us to promote the program, promote the city. An architectural program, which I'm talking mostly today, was only one of 8 program lines we had. what we did also, we created unforgettable experiences, and I will show you 2 examples on what was done. I was an experts board because I was working with film industry, film festivals a lot, so we were rejecting simple things. So I would like to show you the most proud and the most interesting ones. So it was Cities on the Move project, which invited special documentary film festival, which is mostly focusing on human rights. They created a special program with lovers of architecture from Kaunas, and they did special tours and special screenings in the buildings which were never opened before for nor film experiences, nor and it had a very rich history behind it. So we had a cycle of tours before with professionals, passionate experts, also screenings in the place you would never enter. Plus, we had 5 feature films and 1 VR experience, and 1,900 attendees were there in a week. Of course, the festival had normal screenings throughout the cycle in the cinemas, etc. But that was a very special program that we asked them to create, and we were not buying until it was perfect. So yeah, that was real. So see some tours, and I think it's very heavy. Again, we are lacking of screens in Kaunas. So together with Vilnius International Film Festival, we didn't mind that Vilnius is interfering to Kaunas project because we needed professionals who can deliver. Still, we decided to build a pop-up cinema for 1 film. The film who won Venice Lion and never had a chance because of the lockdown to come back. The director, Laurynas Bareiša, is from Karmėlava, the city next to Kaunas, and the film was shot in Karmėlava. So we built the cinema specially for this 1 movie as a promotion for national distribution, especially outside of Kaunas. So you have to take extra step to go there, to buy the ticket. And it was real, and that was a premiere night. Some of you maybe know Algirdas Ramoška is together there, and we were happy that we also had exhibition there, and a real Venice lion that people could touch. So we built this cinema with 160 seats only, and of course they had special attention for Karmėlava. You had the special tour in the shooting locations, and people from all around Lithuania, the film lovers who were following, they were coming extra mile to Kaunas district to see this. And we're happy. That was expensive, but that was, I think, one of the highlights in the spring, and almost 2,000 visitors, 13 screens, 4 tours, and everybody were happy, but maybe not the Karmėlava citizens, because it was a very sad movie about the murder that happened in Karmėlava. So I don't know what the local people thought about it, but it was really special, and we are happy that this happened. So a lot of things are possible. So I would like to invite you to think out of the box. So that's the lion, that's me with the lion, and Cyril. And what we did also, what I would like also to put attention to, we did special TV broadcasting friendly productions. We had 3 biggest events and 1 special contemporary music piece, more than 1 hour long, and they were all directed to be shot, to stay as a legacy, to stay in the Lithuanian broadcasters and also European broadcasters' archives as special pieces, which are composed by Lithuanian and European directors and composers, and there's orchestras and hundreds of performers. So before each of this is actually 3 of the biggest events, and I can send you the links if you're interested to see how it was done. All the rehearsals were specially shot before. In order something will go wrong, so we really put a lot of time and a lot of effort into that it would stay as a musical movies, which we don't have in Lithuania at all. And we had Kaunas Cantata, also very important Jewish memory-related project, 1 hour long. And we created a movie, and architecture was the main character of it. It was not making a film about the film, but involving community. So we invited the artist from Ireland, Aideen Barry, and we started this project in 2020. So it took 2 years before the premiere. It was a process, not only for the result, but also. So it's experimental art film, non-verbal, black and white, stop motion, everything that's against everything I know about the filmmaking. But we used this movie in experimental film festivals, art film festivals, architecture festivals, design festivals, so it lives its own long life in very different environment than we're used to, and it will stay. So what happened is that we involved almost 500, more than 500 Kaunasians into this. They created the script together with creative workshops and the writers. It was all set on the stories born in Kaunas in a very artistic way, and the result itself is very, very crazy, but it has quite different contexts where it can be shown. So it's actually very, very big. We even baked cakes for that. So we used filmmaking as a tool of co-creation for the citizens. So they were very proud of what they're doing, making props, costumes, dancing there. So there's an army of fans at the moment. And at the moment, the artist is in New York, and she's showing this film in New York. It travels all the continents. It was just been in Mexico. So it's very universal language. Some props. Oh. We also did this to promote it. It's a trailer. We used many, many things like small animations, so it's creative process. So this is a trailer from the result. I will not watch it till the end, but just a glimpse for you to understand what kind of language we used. This is Kaunas. It's folding, like folds. And it has, I think, 15 stories, 11 buildings, and many, many people involved. Not to take too much time. The final thing, what I would like to mention, that there were people following us all these 5 years, and we don't know what is shot. And next month we will gonna have a documentary from behind the scenes. I thank you very much. If you have questions, let's talk about it later.
Grazie. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you. This is for sure a very enlightening example on how to think out of the box. And this pop-up cinema experience, I think it is very interesting because it connects what is inside and outside of the screen between cinema and architecture, and thinking of the project Cities on the Move. It also gives us a new look, a fresh look on cities, and it testifies to the important role cinema can have as an artistic and creative expression that contributes to feeding and promoting a whole set of activities in the cultural but also in the economic realm, and that in turn can contribute to the development of a local area and can enhance the richness of the local area. Let's close this round session with Tartu 2024. We'll now leave the floor to Kulda Leila to get to know the European capitals of culture. We need to go to Estonia and other European countries. So now we will get to know the challenge Tartu is going to face with this program.
Grazie. Only ladies until now. Hello, my name is Kuldar Leis, and free translation from Estonian to English is Kuldar means golden and Leis is lazy. It means golden lazy. But but if and I'm a oldest in our team, but if all others are very active and young, then the manager would be a golden lazy. So We are European Capital of Culture next year, and we just, together with Tovile, we came from Vesprem, where was an opening party last Saturday, and it was amazing, and I invite you next January to Estonia to celebrate again opening party. And we are together with FVG and part.2 on the same year, and we have very good cooperation with them also. And we studied a lot from Kaunas and from Vesprem, of course, especially from Kaunas, because they are our good neighbors. So here is our team at the moment, and as you see, they are very, very young and active. Actually, Estonians are very introverts and shy and calm and slow. I have to apologize if I'm not as quick as Italians are, but we can manage somehow. And I will talk about a little bit about our facts and ideas, and later about our cinema projects. First of all, Estonia is a very small country, and all arrows has to direct to Tartu in 2024, and we will do all is possible to show to all Estonia and our neighbor countries that we will be a European Capital of Culture. But Tartu is not alone, but we are together with South Estonia, and it means that 1/4 of Estonia is celebrating together, and this is a biggest joint event in history ever in South Estonia. And we have 20 small municipalities plus big Tartu, and to manage these 20 different municipalities, this is difficult, let's say, but we can manage, I'm sure. And here we have in the south side we have Russia as a border. We have to follow this also at what is coming from there. Third fact is that our artistic concept is arts of survival, and in 2018 when we launched Art of Survival, when the meaning was that knowledge and skills and values that will help us lead a good life in the future. But at the moment, the meaning of the arts of survival is much, much wider, because we got the COVID, then the war, then inflation, which is highest in Europe, in Estonia, and so on. It means that this concept, all our events has, the concept is suitable for every single project. Then our programs consist 4 different program lines, and the last one is science and technology is brand new, because Tartu is a city of university and startups, and actually most of all projects what is connected with the cinema are going also to the science and technology program under the science and technology program line. Then first projects 25 we got from Beatbook already. Then we organized 2 open calls. One was for regional projects, and then second was for Tartu international projects. And we got applications from 21 countries, even not only from Europe, but also from Asia and Africa. And it was a very successful open call for us, and all these projects has to be international. And now February and March this year we will organize an open call for small projects. So maybe some words about my favorite projects. First is Kissing Tartu. It was quite amazing to explain a year or 2 ago that let's kiss together, because COVID was, but now it's more possible. And first part is educational program for schools. For example, my younger son is in 7th grade, and one evening when we were watching TV in our living room, my son asked, "Father, what do you think? What is better, beer or sex?" I said that, what's a question? And finally I said that, you have to ask from your mother, it means from my wife. My mother said that, Jonas, this is not the right question, and you have to ask from sister, it means from my daughter, because she's studying medicine. But and when sister said, yeah, Jonas, this is not a normal question. And then my son answered that, okay, this was a testing question because I know that they both are good, but they are too early for me. And that's why we need some educational program also for first sexual health and so on. And the second part is this massive kissing event in our city center, in our town hall and in city center. And this will be also one of my favorite events. And when the organizers they developed this program, we asked that who will be your market segments that for whom you will do this event, and they said that okay, students, then young people, then young families with small children, and then grandparents with grandchildren. And I asked, how? What about me? I am 50 plus, normal family guy, and I am not in a target group. And then, is it allowed for me also to kiss in a town hall square? And then they put also our family as a target group for this event. Okay, the second is Surrealism 100. It's 100th anniversary next year for Surrealism, and we will organize big exhibitions in our National Museum and Art Museum, especially for not only for Estonian people, but we hope that many visitors will come from outside. Then Wild Bits is a technological art exhibition in our mountains. We have a mountains in Estonia, you know. We have 318 meters mountain in Estonia, even higher than in Lithuania, 10 meters higher. And there will be a technological art exhibition, and you can walk around there in forest, and all these artists are coming outside of Estonia, and they are residences in this mountain area already now. And this exhibition is also in Latvia and Lithuania. Then 26th of January is our opening party next year. This is the best time to visit Estonia. We have usually -10 or -20, but not so windy as here, I promise. And you can wear the same coat. And why it is in 26th of January is that day before, one day before, we have a startup business festival, Startup Day, and this is the biggest business festival in Baltics, and 5,000 startuppers are there, and they will continue this week with us in the opening party. So fourth is that Estonia is a very small country, and this is a main event in 24, I'm sure, and the brand name Tartu 2024 will be one of the most known brands in Estonia this year. And we hope that there will be at least 1 million visits and 300 bigger events. Then finally, we will do environmentally friendly cultural management. This is a revolution for Estonia, and all our events, we have a special guideline for our events, and all our events have to follow these guidelines, how to organize all events environmentally friendly. About cinema, the biggest project which got the biggest financial support from our side is Arts of Survival documentaries. It means the cinema project, and it's going now already with a full speed, and where we have a residency program, then master classes for students and the local people, and then we have meetings with filmmakers, and finally we organized the open call for European documentary filmmakers, and the result is that we will have 8 short documentaries about life and people and habits in South Estonia. and 4 directors are from Estonia and 4 from Europe. Yeah, we will announce these names in March this year. Then some smaller projects more. One is science fiction film together with UK filmmakers. They will do with our students interviews with our old people in South Estonia who remember how was life in 1974. It means 50 years ago, and then we will do a future vision how will be the life in South Estonia in 2074. I hope that it will be quite arts of survival. And then we have a very often connection with Ukraine. We have a lot of Ukrainians in Tartu in South Estonia, and have a plan to do one documentary with Ukraine, one lady who is a filmmaker and is living in Tartu. And finally, our main film festival, Tartu, it's Tartu Love Film Festival. It's every August, mainly open air film festival. It's we hope that in 24 it will be bigger than ever. And end of the day, one more festival will be. It's during the Paris Olympic Games. We will organize a sport films festival in Tartu. So, are you ready for this minus 20 or minus 10? And we will see in Tartu, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuldar Leis. The program that you have just explained shows how art, culture, and cinema are key ingredients in order to establish new relations with countries, different countries, and with partners. And it shows how cultural experiences can focus on our bodies and can be places to know, to get to know, to enhance, even in an eco-friendly way. Also, after the guide you've been talking about, is in lowering the impact of your events. With reference to that, I'm thinking about what Monica Gotti said last month when talking about another event organized by Friuli Venezia Giulia, Acting Sustainably. And Monica Gotti underlined that Alpe Adria Cinema and Trieste Film Festival have been focusing on the fact that cultural events have to be organized in an eco-friendly way. And the Association of Italian Film Festivals has drawn up some guidelines and a guidebook to explain how to do that and to explain the good practices so that film events can be made more eco-friendly. So environmental sustainability becomes a challenge that we have to take on when organizing events like this. And let's see us all, let's meet us all on the 26th of January in Tartu. And now let's open up the Q&A session. If you have any comments or if you have any questions, don't be shy. Or if you have any suggestions to give to Gorizia for 2025, please raise your hand. I have a question myself. Oftentimes, this morning, the speakers have said that this masterclass wants to share good practices and the experiences of the past European Capital of Cultures or the operators that have already been working on the program of European Capitals of Culture. It is important to have good examples and to look at other people's experiences because you can always learn from others when innovating and when networking. I'm asking the representatives of those who have already been a European Capital of Culture, What are some of the mistakes that you have made? What has gone wrong? In other words, can you give some advice to Gorizia and Nova Gorica 2025? What should they not do in order to have a successful event? What are some of the mistakes? Maybe Marta Bam or Sara Vuletic or Nicoletta, Ania.
Is there a microphone?
Hello. We are joining with Sara. I think it's hard to be innovative in the times when a lot of things were done already. But it's very important to learn from each other. That means that in the context that we had, I think, with Novi Sad, it was horrible in the preparation. Your culture was closed. So what we went through is actually, I think we envy right now the future capitals, which has everything set. You know, the possibility to reach the audiences, to encourage them, to feed them by events. And we just use the idea that it's the only positive new that's in front of us. Culture will be open and we will have this biggest thing. You know, you have to, I think, make allies from everyone, mayors, ministers, everyone who can speak about your project. Make them proud. This is the opportunity to make them proud. And try open all of these stakeholders, you know, windows, because there's no better occasion to really do something together and to really celebrate it. I think that is very, very important. And for some, it's very hard to get the support. But since you have, some of you have 1 year or 2 years, use it to get closer to each other, you know, despite all the elections and everything, you know. They need to support you. You need to come an understanding of each other, not to block initiatives and ideas later, when you need to do the audits, reports, and get everything, you know. I think that's very, very important. And of course, that's an amazing opportunity to get sponsors, and we failed with this because culture was closed, businesses were in crisis. So I think that's a gate for companies to really support culture. And for some regions like Lithuania, it's impossible to do it, and there's no cash in culture.
Thank you, Davile.
Yeah, very, very good explanation. I can add up to what you said. I completely agree. We created a lot of these intersectorial collaborations because this we are just one organization. We are a foundation. We are operation body. We obviously did projects ourselves as well, but without the network of institutions and organizations that are crucial key partners in your city and broader, this project is impossible to do. So it's good to plan well in advance. That's always my advice, to know that you're a capital culture in a particular year, but you need kind of a couple of years to make sure that you have established all the necessary relationships and that you have actually planned the timelines of your projects, because a lot of projects take maybe even 2 years to implement. So in that case, for us, for those big flagship projects, we really planned in advance, and you need to know that like there will be obstacles also along the way. So it's always good to have a kind of a plan B as well. When it comes to, for example, the outdoor events, it's good to have a kind of option that you can maybe also host it indoors in case of the unpredictable weather we are all facing. And in terms of these collaborations, we did a lot when it comes to educating our partner institutions into how to apply for European funded projects, how to be more innovative in their ways of thinking, because when we were awarded the title of European Capital in 2016, we went through like a long process of providing certain courses for writing, for example, the European projects. And we also made a 10-year strategy in culture for Novi Sad, which is actually the only proper strategy in culture in Serbia. And all these things are important to empower these projects, you know, and to make it more sustainable. And it will kind of also guarantee, not guarantee, but it will help you maybe have legacy afterwards as well. Because for me, the capital of culture is a year to shine, but then it is gonna be even worse if you don't have anything happening afterwards, because your citizens, people are used to it. They're already accustomed to culture. A lot of people come to me and they say, so what's going to happen next year? I hope you're going to, I mean, we'll have programs, that's the plan, not as many, because you don't want something spectacular happening and then just like disappearing. It's kind of it would look pessimistic and a little depressing. So yeah, also learn your procedures. That's a big advice, because we are working in culture and with a lot of artists involved, but we have very strict reporting methods, and we needed to comply, and I believe every country has their own laws. We need to comply with all the procurement procedures and all the legislations as other organizations that are dealing with state money. So that's for me like one of the very, very important advice to give. Yeah, so hope it helped. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Vuletic. And what about you, Marta Ban, if you have any advice for Go 2025?
Well, yes, my biggest advice would be to make a program that is sustainable, you know, because the year when you're European Capital of Culture, you get a lot of money, a lot of spotlight, a lot of opportunities, but when it finishes, you have to keep in mind that people are used to things that you created, and that they expect you to do more now, to grow more. And when Rijeka 2020 finished, it happened that culture wasn't anymore in the focus, you know, of the city, because they were spending for years for the preparation so much money on the culture. So regarding the politics, now they decided, well, it's time for other things, for sports, for education, etc. So I think the biggest issue, and I think the biggest need, is to be in a way sustainable. To create things that you can, with whom you can keep on going and organize them and develop them. This example that I gave today, Children's House, is one of the successes of our European Capital of Culture year, but there are many that we had to cancel. For example, our Kino started the Rijeka Film Festival, which was it was challenging because it was 2020 and we couldn't get any guests, and it wasn't what we expected it to be. But it was still nice. But now, later, the next year, we didn't have enough money, enough funds to continue this practice and to grow with this festival. So yes, I think the main thing is to be sustainable and to educate people who are working in cultural sector. Because if you have infrastructure and if you have all these nice toys and gadgets and everything that you accomplish with this year, and you don't have people who can support it and who can manage it, it won't be able to continue to grow.
Thank you, grazie. Domande? Allora ne ho ancora una io, che forse è indirizzata per lo più... Una domanda per... Ah, prego.
No, non voglio interrompere.
Prego.
My name is Paolo Vidali from the Regional Audiovisual Fund. Several months ago, a friend of mine told Go 2025 starts on January 1st, 2026. And I think it's not a joke. And I understood that for all the representatives of other cities is the same. Can we have some more information about this from those that didn't say something about what happens after the year of the culture in their city? Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else wants to say, or should I start? Okay. Well, it depends on a lot of things. Obviously, for example, when we had our report evaluated by the European Commission, it was very successful, but one of the strong points was make sure you have a legacy, that your project remains sustainable. Obviously, we have a plan, we are working on it, and we believe we will continue with our legacy. The only problem that not only us but everyone else can face is the lack of understanding from like local governments, because in the end of the day we can be indefinite foundation, we can be indefinite, but then if there is no sustainable yearly budget, then there is a problem. So basically it is a, I would say also the decision which is above this organization. It is more like a political decision. What is important as initiative, and I think some ICOC family members from other states, from other kind of countries are organizing the meeting where the mayors will actually realize the understanding of the importance of the legacy, because we know it's important, and most, like what I can say from Novi Sad, there is strong understanding and support, which we are lucky and blessed. But sometimes it happens that there's not much understanding, not maybe because it's a bad intention from the government, maybe they just don't understand the importance of it, because it's not easy. For us, this is the main course. For the people who are in politics, they probably have a lot of important things to think about, so they need to understand why this is so important. And I think one of the initiatives that other also ICOCs started is to raise the topic of European Capitals of Culture not only among us who are working in top management and as artists and curators, but also on the level of the decision makers. So I think, yeah, this is one of the ways to go forward, to make it sustainable not only for Novi Sad, not only for Kaunas, but to make it sustainable on a more general European level, so that each next capital of culture can have sustainability program. I think with working together on European projects, because being a European capital of culture, you can have much more chances of getting funds from, for example, Creative Europe or Erasmus+, working with other capitals of culture, whether they're former, current, or past, and then you kind of keep your presence in that sense. Make sure you create some infrastructure as well during your programs, because those are the places where culture will live. So that is definitely a legacy. People are also legacy, because there are a lot of individuals who became strong artists, project managers. So it is maybe intangible legacy, but it is a very important one. So as we learned from people, processes, programs, and places, those are the legacies. Now it's important kind of to address those 4 Ps and then just try to work towards realizing it. And yeah, make sure that your local governments understand the importance of it. Okay, in short, thank you.
In our case, we are colleagues, right? We don't have that promise of the legacy, and we knew it. Now we have elections, and that's the most difficult part of developing a project like ICOC, is that elections are in the middle usually in these 5 years, right? So we have elections actually right now. Culture was never a priority for our city, and we knew that we are heroes on our land for ourselves. But the project was recognized in general in Lithuania. The most important audiences were Kaunas, Kaunasians, Lithuanians, diaspora, and all the region, and then blah, 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 target markets, right? Different for every country. What we left 12 big festivals, which are the elephant in the market, and they will have to compete with national and international funds. We left 72 partners able to co-produce together with international partners and some like national drama theater in Kaunas who never had a co-production because they have annual budget, annual actors, right? Why do they need to think out of the box? But right now they did Robert Wilson's co-production. They did 7 co-productions in 1 year, so maybe they are adventurous to seek for more. We left an urban legend about Kaunas mythical beast, and Kaunas beast the other way saying, and the church is very angry on us, so if they speak about it, so we are succeeded. They asked not to make a contract with the beast in the end, so we made the contract with the city. In the end, bishops are dangerous. We left new organizations from Kaunas Youth. We left a new NGO with the volunteers uniting in association and helping for the others. We're leaving several initiatives with communities, and the Kaunas district will have annual budget because the mayor realized that it's the channel to speak with people through culture. That was a very beautiful story, not for the city, but for the district. So all the beautiful things they did will stay, and our colleagues are hired there to keep it going. So we'll see. ECOC cities need some time to evaluate what happened, and this energy is also needed to be evaluated by very exhausted cultural community. They are very, very exhausted because they had 5 years of reports, money, reports, get busy. If you're not with us, you're disappearing from the map, right? So it was intensive. So we need some time to rest, to get back on track, for the market itself to evaluate itself, and maybe for the National Board of Culture to find more funds, because we have very strong festivals which were not created only for 2022. That's very important that you start earlier, and then it's a tradition already, and it stays. So this is a short comment from Kaunas.
Let's go. Allora, l'ultima domanda vorrei farla forse a Stoyan Perku.
My last question to Stoyan Perku and Anja Medved, because when we talk about Gorizia, Nova Gorica, we talk about basically of cities connecting different cultures, the Slavic one, the German one, the Italian culture. So places that were theaters of war and that are now collaborating, breathing, living together. We could speak of one single cross-border city. So I would like to better understand how being a European capital of culture could consolidate this aspect, can consolidate this being a city across two countries. How can we build a new culture ecosystem, a new cross-border cultural ecosystem?
New cultural ecosystem, a cross-border ecosystem is a big challenge. How to do it, how to face it.
Molto difficile, ma se non è difficile non è vero, come signore Prodi, like he said like 10 days ago in Gorizia, coming to Gorizia to discuss with the former president of Slovenia on a particular topics. And at that time, they said something, both in fact, that European Culture Capital, in fact, will really start afterwards, like you said, because what will be created during these processes will remain. I must add to what Anja said, I'm sure, if you are very honest, we all sense this today. There are different discourses. There is a promotional discourse, there is a political discourse, but there is the artistic discourse. And I think our role, most of us here, fortunately or unfortunately, is to create conditions that such voices get the stage, the microphone, the screen. This is how I see my role as a program director. And I'm founding every day on the other side of the almost non-existing border similar attempts to create conditions for people who have something to say, to show, to produce, to do it. And I said, it's not at all easy, it's extremely difficult. And we are kind of people that maybe were not used to say no. This process demands on a daily basis to say no, 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 because this is not relevant enough, this is not serious enough, this is not fun enough, this is not original enough, but that's how program is done. And if I may, please don't misunderstand me, but it was in Spielberg's movie when Schindler said it's all about presentation. But I tell you that you will know more about the concentration camps from one tiny drawing of Zoran Mušić, born here close to Gorizia, living in Venice, creating in Paris, because he survived this. And his little tiny drawings show this. We will know more about culture, understanding the courage of Franco Basaglia, who opened the institutions for the madness to come out. So in a way, I came here to learn. I didn't learn a lot, because there was not a lot of this focused, sincere. It was a little bit about presentation. I must be sincere with you, but what I've heard from few makes us do our work. I'm sure, and I understand what I'm telling, because it's tough, our work. But the cultural capital, in a way, creates conditions that are not usual. The cultural and the artistic people have more time to create, which is not normally in usual financial systems. It's today, tomorrow, effect. No, if you can think for a year what you will do next year and then to produce the third year. It's a luxury. But this luxury is given through these cultural institutions or culture capitals. On the other side, the big names coming are not a danger. They really inspire people in the community, first that they can learn from them, but also that maybe they will learn something about them. So it's not about bringing Sting, but bringing Sting to sing with a guy from Friuli and from a lady from Slovene part of the border will focus on this activity here. And I'm finishing with something that happened in Trieste and for us was essential a few years ago. It was Patti Smith who opened her concert in Trieste by quoting a poem by Srećko Kosovel. In English, no problem. But the whole world now knows the little poem about the code of words by a tiny Slovene poet who died very early. And we have such poets on the Italian side. We have all those Rilkes and Pasolini and Hemingways. But there are others now here, 20 years old, who need this kind of global focus. So we are between the global focus and these tiny little voices that need stage. That's how I see even today's event.
Grazie. Anya, just a few words.
Yes, I very agree with Stoyan, and I think it's very important to talk about relevance. It's every space is specific, of course, but it's also there are also people living there that are very specific, and these like creators, artists, and they should have a space and a voice because we need a particular time. I mean, art is not. It's like a tree, you know. You have to plant it, but then it grows like for 10 years, 20 years. So if you want to be serious, we have to be serious and take time, because time is the basic, is fundamental in art and film. So I'm saying this because I'm watching around me, and there are many artists, very good artists, that are struggling to survive. I mean, they have to have 2 jobs aside. They have to maybe compete with institutions and managers. That is impossible. So I would love to have what I said about the islands of utopia. It's this space. It's like the healthy air, you know, the non-toxic air, where you have the time to watch around you, to see who is around you, and to and give also a space maybe for one artist that is completely introvert and he will never speak loud, but he or she is doing very, very precious things by himself. So I would love that this would be also like a political force that actually art should have. So yeah.
Thank you very much. And with that, I want to thank all of you, and I wish you all the best, and not only to the team of Go 2025. Enjoy the Trieste Film Festival, and I want to thank all of you for your participation and your contribution, because if we're all here, it's because we all share these thoughts and the idea that we need culture in order to take on global challenges. And since this is global, since this is a global challenge, we need a cooperation, collaboration, and synergies in order to create beauty. And we all need beauty. And I want to finish off with the words of Giorgio Parisi, Nobel Prize winner. In his recent biography said, to the young, I'm only saying that only culture and knowledge enable them to understand and to live free and to have fun. Because as he said, you can also have fun while making very hard things. hard stuff. And this is what you have been saying. Your work, your job is very complex, but it's also a job where you're having fun. So enjoy the Trieste Film Festival, and let's all remember that freedom is participation. Thank you. Thanks to all of you.